We walk alone in the unknown. We live to win another victory. Our sacred scars show who we are. It's time to face it.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new edition of Smark Guys. Here with John Rambo, as always. And we're going to cover all of the events that happened in the WWE and TNA in the past week. So without further ado, we'll start talking about WWE for the first part of this video. First of all, just so everyone understands, some people have been questioning me on why do we talk about the week before of SmackDown. And
it's not a live show.
I know, this isn't a live show. We record this on Fridays.
It's not a live broadcast into your computer.
We actually record this usually on the earlier side on Friday before the new episode of SmackDown has come out. So we can't predict what's gonna. Well, I guess we could read the spoilers, but we can't predict what's gonna happen on that day's SmackDown until we see it. So we're always basically gonna be talking about the last week's SmackDown, Raw, and Impact, and any pay-per-views that might have happened in that time period. So, you know, I think every episode so far has come out on a Saturday because I have to edit it. So that's why it's like a little bit delayed. So, so we're talking about last week's SmackDown right now, and really weird opening. As always, they do these weird things. They open up with Undertaker standing on top of the Rose Garden, and he's just standing there like a statue. He's not moving. He's not he's not looking at anyone. He's not reacting. He's just standing there like a gargoyle. And I guess this is supposed to be some kind of an ominous thing because he wasn't on last week. This was the big how we were talking about. He wasn't on last week after the pay-per-view. It was really weird. Why would he not be on?
Right.
So now he's back, you know, to promote this angle where, you know, Kane had beaten him, and what's going to happen? Is he going to be weak? Is he going to be strong again? What's going to happen to the Undertaker? So
he's going to win eventually. That's what's going to happen.
We know what's going to happen. But well, it opened up with Teddy Long actually coming out, and he says we need to hold qualifying matches tonight for bragging rights because we don't have a team. Raw picked their team on Monday that just passed. So he announces that the first match is going to be Rey Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes. And I don't know, I thought that this was an interesting match, if only because I kind of saw that Rey can't really do this stuff in the ring that he used to do anymore. Like, if you notice, John, at the ending, like the finish, he didn't do the West Coast pop. He did like a splash instead, and I was like, that's weird. Like, he always used to do the West Coast pop as his finisher.
He's got to be up there. He's getting up there in age now.
Yeah.
But he's also more, he's been injury prone the last couple of years as well. So.
That's true. And so, I'm sure
he also, like, at one point, he put a lot of muscle on. Remember that? He actually, like, when he was gone, he came back and, like, he was jacked.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are you like that? But,
what happened to you?
Yeah, he's probably just trying to be more conservative now, getting up there in his golden years.
Plus, I can understand that it wasn't a pay-per-view match either, so it's not like he's going to give 200% chance of injury. But anyway, it was a good back-and-forth match, but it ends up Rey gets the win over Cody, gets the pin, so he qualifies for the team. Up next was a really weird promo where Cabal was talking to Big Show in the back, and Cabal was like, I want to be on the team, Big Show, and Show was kind of brushing him off like, you little runt, you can't be on the team. You couldn't, spend 5 minutes in the ring with me. And then he says, really? Oh yeah, well I challenge you. I could do that. And Big Show says, well, if you can last 5 minutes, then you could be on the team.
Didn't he say like, everyone starts off slow. What did you do in your first match?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Big Show's like, I won the world title.
That's right. He's like,
that's the difference between being like under 6 foot tall and being like over 7 feet tall in wrestling. So
right, exactly.
It's not fair.
Yeah, it's really not fair. That's true. So anyway, it sets up for later in the show. There's going to be Cabal versus Big Show, a 5-minute challenge. So then up next, we find out that Kane is going to challenge Undertaker to a buried alive match at the Bragging Rights pay-per-view. So everyone's been wondering what's going to happen with that angle. That kind of gives us a little bit of guidance.
What was the last one they had, a buried alive match? Do you remember?
The last buried alive match I remember was...
Paul Bearer was killed in cement?
No, I think this was the one where it was Undertaker and Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon buried the Undertaker, and then Undertaker came back the next year at WrestleMania to wrestle Kane. I think that was the last.
I think it's cool. They're going back to like the mystical Undertaker, all his powers and stuff.
I don't know.
It's stupid. It's a throwback though. Remember when Yokozuna killed him and he flew into the ceiling?
Yes, that was the. I remember that like to a T because that was the pay-per-view. I watched it live and I was like, yeah.
How come all the heels came out? They beat the hell out of Undertaker and they buried him. Why didn't anyone come and help him?
No one likes him. He's a jerk.
They like what? Who's around?
He's a pompous bastard.
Ahmed Johnson could come out and help him out or something.
No, I know. It's just shit. It's kind of messed up that no one came out, but
he flew through the ceiling and he's like Jesus and his powers.
Back then. But see, what I don't get is back then, sure, that made sense because that was his character. But after leaving that character and not trying to come back, it's kind of silly.
Yeah, after becoming the motorcycle Undertaker.
You know, so I don't know. The next match was Jack Swagger against MVP. And Big Show actually at this point came out and they announced he was going to do commentary on the next couple of qualifier matches for the Bragging Rights.
Why is Big Show such a big thing now? Well, they're like
because he was the reason that SmackDown won last year, so they had to pump him up so that he could be the leader of the team, basically.
Doesn't make any sense.
So Big Show's on the mic. Swagger goes back and forth between Swagger and MVP. Once again, MVP jobs for like the 200th time in a row. He hasn't won a match in months. And this time he loses because that eagle, who is the mascot for Jack Swagger, interferes and, whatever, distracts him, and he ends up losing because
of that. Is MVP the next Matt Hardy?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe MVP's now filling in for Matt Hardy.
He's taking over his role.
Because Matt Hardy, we actually didn't talk about this in last week's episode because the news came after we filmed, but Matt Hardy has officially been released from WWE. There's a lot of speculation he's going to TNA with his brother. So it's and so there's a lot of talk about, what's happening now. And now you got someone like MVP who used to have pushes, and now he seems to be filling in that mid-carder role that Matt Hardy used to have, and he's losing every damn match again. So kind of frustrating, especially if you were one of the people who supported MVP for all those years.
He's a great talent. He's a good talent as well.
So anyway, they cut back after that match back to the Undertaker, who is still standing on top of the Rose Garden, has not moved. Do you think
he was actually out there? Do you think they filmed like 10 minutes of it and just like?
I think they filmed. Well, obviously that's what they did. They filmed like 5 minutes of him just standing like this, and they just keep splicing different angles into the show.
You should have made him stand up there the whole show.
He's like taking piss breaks and stuff off the balcony.
It's like you've been in the business for 20 years.
He eats a Snickers and throws the wrapper on a fan walking into the dome. Like, oh, what's that?
This is your reward for great service for 20 years. You can watch the show
from outside.
A great angle.
Watch the fucking parking lot for us while we have a show inside. So the next match was Alberto Del Rio versus Chris Masters, and obviously, if you've been following the program, you know Chris Masters also cannot win a match to save his life. So it was pretty obvious who was going over in this match. Shitty. Del Rio worked the arm. That's what the angle was, where Chris Masters has the Master Lock as his finisher move, and so Del Rio worked the arm the whole match so that he couldn't hold the Master Lock. It's like, ooh, so basically all you need to do is punch Chris Masters in the arm and he loses every match.
He can't do the Master Lock. He doesn't know any other moves. All he knew. It's so good.
So he ends up with a submission win, and then after the match, he refuses to shake the Big Show's hand. But Big Show's like, that's okay, we need cockiness on our team, we need people who are confident, I don't care.
That's pretty dumb because him and Mysterio are on the same team.
That's exactly what I was going to say next. This seems like they do this every year with bragging rights. All other angles go on complete hold, because last week, it was Ray versus Del Rio in this revenge match, because Del Rio had put Ray out for like a couple weeks with injuries. Ray had beaten him, so now you would think, okay, now it's like a rubber match, where he's going to see, nope. Everything's suspended. We're going to be on the bragging rights team together, and no one,
because the brand loyalty is so strong.
It's
the guys that go back and forth every 2 days.
It's very odd, very very odd that they do this every year. And then speaking about odd, the next match was Edge versus Dolph Ziggler. Mm-hmm. Now, what a weird match this was because, as you know, Vicky Guerrero in this plot line is going out with Dolph Ziggler.
About that,
In addition to that, there's Vicky Guerrero's. Hold on.
Okay.
Vicky Guerrero's NXT rookie this year is a woman, Caitlyn, is supposedly cheating with Dolph Ziggler. But Edge used to go out with Vicky Guerrero in another angle from like a year and a half ago. So when this happened, it was like, what the fuck is going to happen here? It could have went so many different ways.
It's like the fucking Real World or something.
And the match itself was actually pretty good. I have a couple notes here.
Did they say anything about Edge going out with her?
They alluded to it, but they never directly said that like Edge went out with Vicky. They were like, oh, this could have some interesting history. They
may have done something in the past.
Right.
I can't remember what that was.
So at one point, actually, they're outside of the ring, and Dolph Ziggler actually does a zigzag into the steps. So he throws Edge directly into. That was a pretty good bump that Edge took there, but it went back and forth, and then a really weird ending. Ziggler, I remember Ziggler dodged the spear, went up on the turnbuckle, and then tried to do like a flying axe hammer. Like, who does this anymore? Flying axe hammer blow? And Edge just goes like this, and and they say, "Oh, it's a spear." I was like, "No." He went, that wasn't a spear." And then
Like,
he
just
pinned him.
like moved into him.
Yeah, he didn't even like tackle him. He just went, and there's like, "Spear, spear." He didn't even move. He was like, "Boop," and then he pinned him for the 3 count. So really weird ending to that match. You could tell they wanted him to do a spear, but he was too close to the corner to do it. So Edge ends up qualifying for the team. Up next, it was the 5-minute challenge, Cabal versus Big Show, and it's a long 5 minutes, let's put it that way. But Cabal, tries to basically put in the work, and he survives the 5 minutes. And they were like, "Wow, Cabal's on the team."
Yeah.
Immediately after they cut the commercial, as soon as they come back from commercial, Cabal's still in the ring. You're like, "Uh-oh, why is he still in the ring? Something's gonna happen." There's a new guy who no one's ever seen before, Tyler Rex.
Yeah, well, he was on last year for like a couple times.
I've never seen this guy.
Yeah, he was on like a year ago, and very strange.
He's weird. He's a big guy, but he has like freaking dreads in his hair and shit. He looks like a bum, really. He looks like a fucking vagrant.
I think he was injured or something happened to him.
Yes, I wrote here. I thought his hair looked like a soggy spider. So he comes out and he's like,
that'd be a better name for him.
The soggy spider.
The soggy spider.
He comes out and he goes,
"He's on Team SmackDown.
Cabal, you're too small. You don't deserve to be on the team. I challenge you." And then Teddy Long goes out and says, "Whoa, you can't do that because you just had a 5-minute match with Big Show. You can't." And then, of course, in the WWE's nonstop efforts to bury Cabal, Cabal says, "No, I accept the challenge," and immediately loses the match within 2 seconds. And so now Tyler Rex has the spot on the bragging rights team, which makes absolutely no sense.
Strange.
No one knows who the guy is. No one knows why they would have taken Cabal off the team. Really weird, especially with that whole angle to get him on the team, and then they take him off.
Especially since he won an entire series of a show.
Yeah, you would think they would do something with the guy.
What was the point of watching the NXT if he's just gonna go nowhere? Was it a waste of my time to watch that again?
I guess so, pretty much.
Like, why'd you watch this shit? This guy's not doing anything.
He's not. They're just burying him nonstop. And all right, so the last match for the qualifying spots for bragging rights was Kofi Kingston against Drew McIntyre. A little bit of back and forth, but it was a relatively quick match. All of a sudden, Kofi just lands the Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere. And they're like, "Oh, look, he did the Trouble in Paradise, 1, 2, 3." And everyone's like, "Oh, okay, the match is over. I guess Kofi won." And they're kind of like confused about it, but I guess they just needed to finish the show quickly.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem lately. Like, a lot of the matches don't get enough. Like, as soon as there's some momentum in the match, like, it just ends.
It ends. It's like, I don't know. But you know what it is? They needed time for the promo, the big promo, when Undertaker finally comes off the roof and actually enters the arena. So he comes out and he confronts Kane, and there's a big hoopla. What's going to happen? And then all of a sudden, Undertaker raises his hands like this, and it doesn't look right when he does it either. Like, what's he doing? And he goes, "Oh!" And all of a sudden, the ring erupts in flame, which is Kane's ability. And like, oh my God, the Undertaker has Kane's fire abilities? Because those are so real in real life. I'm so amazed that he has those abilities. So of course, Kane and Paul Bearer pretend like they're all flustered about it.
What the fuck?
They leave the ring and they back up on the ramp, and then the Undertaker goes, "Oh!" And then a lightning bolt shoots out of the sky and electrocutes everyone, and that's the end of the show.
Everyone died in the arena.
Yes, everyone died.
Fire and a lightning explosion.
Because obviously, if real lightning hit the arena, they'd all be dead.
Everyone fucking died. That was in the arena. I feel bad.
I don't know how they did it. Maybe it didn't really happen. Maybe it was just superimposed for like the show. I don't know if the lightning actually really happened.
They had a giant green screen come up.
Or a Photoshop job, but yeah, that was really a weird ending. But I guess the angle is that Undertaker's getting his powers, and now he has Kane's powers.
Because you have like ice power.
Yes.
Like freeze.
Yes.
Sub-Zero.
And he also says, "Come here," and throws a spear like that. So anyway, really weird ending to SmackDown. But whenever you have the Undertaker like that, you knew that was gonna be some really weird fucking way they were gonna have him come back. How else were they gonna do it? Raw also opened really weird this week because Teddy Long opens the show, and you're like, "What the fuck is Teddy Long doing
here?" The big star, Teddy Long.
He comes, he hits the ring, and he says, "That's it, I'm taking over the show." And then the general manager, who's on the laptop, starts blinking, and Teddy says, "Oh yeah, watch this." And he walks over to the laptop and he disconnects the laptop. He says, "There's no Raw general manager tonight. I'm the general manager."
What's up with that? You think? Think they just don't know where to go with it?
I think that it's the dumbest angle ever, and they really have no idea how to just work it into anything.
Yeah,
so
Teddy Long, this is the ending. They all thought about like Teddy Long unplugs the computer. Yeah. Here's your thousands of dollars, you writers.
Because there's no other way that the general manager could possibly contact anyone at the arena besides the internet. So anyway, Teddy Long invades. Basically, the entire SmackDown bragging rights team hits the ring, and they're like, "We're taking over the show."
SmackDown invaded Raw.
So then
Believe it?
The Raw team comes out, and the weird thing about this is I looked and I was like, where's R-Truth? He wasn't on the show this week.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, if there was some reason behind it.
R-Truth is not allowed in Canada.
What? R-Truth is not allowed in Canada. I guess he was dating Crunk a little bit too much.
Yeah, some kind of prior legal issue. He's not allowed. He'll never be in.
Oh my
God! They will not approve him over the border. So that's why he's never in Canada.
I did not know that. That is crazy.
The last show was like that too. So.
Holy shit. So anyway,
what the fuck did he do?
I don't know what he did, but he's not on the show. But then they announced the final member of Team Raw is going to be Ezekiel Jackson,
the returning former
ECW champion, because he's been off TV for quite a long time. No one really knew where he went. And my question is, why didn't he have to wrestle a qualifying match? But
they didn't know what to do.
Whatever. So he comes out. So there's a fight. Raw hits the ring. They start fighting SmackDown, but then Raw gets thrown out of the ring. So here's Raw getting thrown out of their own ring on their own show. It makes them look really fucking weak. And then Big Show says, all right, listen, we're not going to stay in the ring all night, but I challenge Miz to a match tonight, and then we'll leave the ring. And then all of a sudden they announced that there's going to be a tag team match of Cena and Orton against McGillicuddy and Harris, who were the two people who had basically forced Cena to be on the Nexus to
Those
begin
two
with.
fans that just got in the ring.
So that's just like thrown out there suddenly. And so then up next you have the tag champs Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre against the Hart Dynasty. Now if you haven't been watching a couple past weeks, it was weird because last week it was supposed to be a triple threat with the Hart Dynasty in it, but
David
Hart Smith was missing. A couple weeks before the last match that the Hart Dynasty had, they weren't communicating properly, and because of that, they lost the match.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to be another tag match to put them like at the top of the division. Well, there's a miscommunication. David Hart Smith wants to put one of the guys in a figure. I'm sorry, a figure. I should have called it a figure four. A sharpshooter instead of doing their heart attack finisher move, and because of that, it cost them the match. So there's a big after the match there.
How many fucking tag teams do they have? This is like the only one.
None. They have. What are you talking about? They have. Or what are they? The Dude Busters.
The Samoan guys.
The Samoan guys. The Dude Busters. I don't know. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. So it's like.
Oh, it's Santino and.
That's not a team. It's a shit show.
What do you mean? They're a valid tag team. How dare you?
So it's like let's break up the only team we have basically, and have so both of those guys could be like. Mid-card jobbers.
Right, which pretty much is,
and plus, this was done in Calgary with Hart families in the audience.
Right.
Like, let's have them fucking fight with each other in front of their family members and countrymen.
Maybe they feel like they've been together on TV about 2 years now. Maybe they're figuring they've been together on TV too much.
They're just starting to get going.
They need to break up like the Anvil and Brett did.
They were together for like 5 years, man.
I know they were. So anyway,
they were both ready to be singles guys. These guys are just gonna like sit around.
Yeah. There's a Cena Orton promo where they just yell at each other in the back in the locker room. Really stupid promo.
Randy Orton talked very slowly.
And
monotone.
Very oddly, and it's like, is Cena gonna really turn on Orton, or will he be a good tag partner tonight?
I would team with you.
Very weird. So now they're still continuing this stupid Goldust angle, but anyway, Goldust has a match, which makes no sense. When was the last time you saw Goldust actually?
Goldust is getting a crazy push right now.
Yeah, it makes no sense. He has a match against Zack Ryder. Now, Zack Ryder is the job around Raw right now. Goldust beats him in like 3 seconds, and then Ted DiBiase comes out. I want my $1 million title back that you stole a couple weeks back. He hits the ring. Goldust fucks him up. It's like, why is Goldust so good right now? It's like this guy's wrestled seriously for so long.
Right now, yeah.
Oh, maybe he's gonna retire soon or something, and they're trying to give him a final push. I don't know.
He's got like a book coming out. I'm not joking.
He has a book coming out. Oh my
god. He's got something coming out with like a book or something. So maybe
Golden Pleather Delights.
Like
the Goldust story.
Yeah, shit. So have him win a match and then sort of buy his book. I guess.
Oh my god, I don't know. Okay, there's another promo. There were so many promos on this show. Barrett is talking to Cena in the back, and he says, "I want you to actually go all out on McGillicuddy and Harris tonight. I don't want you to hold back. This will prove whether or not they deserve to be in Nexus or not, and I really need to know what they have. So." Beat the living shit out of them, he basically says. And Cena's like, yeah, I get to let loose, and I get to do my amazing Hulkamania powers that, because obviously that's who I am right now. I'm the Hulk.
Why does he come out to his own music? Why doesn't he come out to the Nexus music?
Oh, I'm trying to read my note here. Oh, apparently at that point, that's right, Orton was in the back, and the Nexus beat down Orton. And something about Cena not shaking his hand. I don't know.
There's a part where Cena spit the water, or he goes all out water.
Yeah.
pretty good.
He told Cena to go get him water.
He goes, "Give me water," and then he comes back, he drinks a little bit,
Yeah.
and he just throws it in his face.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need this
And he's
water.
like, delicious.
Okay, so next is... This is the match. Okay, next up was the match. Sorry about that. That's what I couldn't figure out because I had the promo and then the match. Cena and Orton win the match easily over McGillicuddy and Harris. And then the Nexus comes out and beats the living shit out of Orton. And then basically, Barrett tells Cena, you have to do your finisher on Orton now. And Cena's like, he's reluctant to do it. And he's about to do it because he doesn't want to get fired. And then he's like, well, wait a minute. No, you don't have to do it. I want to do the finisher. So fuck you. So he grabs Orton and does his finisher. It's really weird. Like, they're jerking Cena around a lot.
Kind of the contract is this if you don't do exactly what the guy says, you get fired.
Right. I mean, that's because he's supposed to be the leader of Nexus.
He's like, take your pants off.
I gotta do it.
Whip it out in front of
Look
these.
at my dick. Here
Whip
it
it out in front of
comes.
these kids in the audience right now. And Teddy Long and be like, yes, you have to do this, yeah.
Well, you're fired. What else are you gonna do?
You'll be fired. You're part of Nexus now.
Okay, so really weird for Raw, but Vicky and Dolph Ziggler come out and cut a promo how Dolph is the best and blah blah blah, which is stupid.
It's just like a horrible segment.
It's Raw. I don't know why they're doing this on Raw. But basically, Daniel Bryan comes out and he insults Vicky and says something about, I don't know who would go out with her or something like that. Something about how ugly she is.
I would never go out with you. And meanwhile, she was married to, Eddie.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the fuck would go out with you?
Who would go out with you? Only that legendary Hall of Famer wrestler.
What the fuck?
So then it says there's going to be Bryan versus, I say Bryan, but I meant Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan against Dolph Ziggler on Sunday. And then Daniel Bryan puts his submission hold on Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph, he goes, let's do it right now.
Yeah, and then they don't do it.
Well, he puts Vicky in front of him.
Right.
And then Daniel Bryan goes to charge, and she's in front. But then he jumps him outside the ring and puts him in the finisher, and he immediately starts tapping.
Right.
Dolph Ziggler immediately starts tapping.
Immediately.
And then the fucking divas come out and they start dancing.
Which makes no sense. But then the other thing I want to know is there really going to be this match on Sunday? Yeah. It really is happening.
It is really happening, but it's so stupid. I mean, these are the two secondary champions from both shows.
We're on SmackDown.
And it's not treated with any kind of seriousness whatsoever.
Is this a unification match or just a match?
Not even for any belt at all.
I can't tell, right?
No, there's no seriousness involved in it whatsoever. It's like both these guys are made to look like jobbers.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's got beat up by Sheamus for the last couple weeks for no reason.
Well, at least we know he can dance now because he really was dancing with those divas.
Oh god! And then he puts him in the fucking the submission hold, and Dolph immediately starts tapping. So it's like, oh, that's then that builds up for the match. This guy's going to tap immediately. And then the fucking divas come out. So it's
and then Daniel Bryan dances with the divas. We're not kidding. He actually does dance with all the divas for no apparent reason because I guess they were commenting that he can't get girls or something.
And Michael Cole's going and doing his stupid routine.
Yeah, where he always hates on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, this is one of the parts where I turned the sound off on Raw. Michael Cole's just so bad. But why not treat it with a little more seriousness? And
it was like a big joke. It was the joke of the show, pretty much. And it's
that would have been cool if that was actually
if it was a serious match where they were hyping it up, champion versus champion. But
these are the two secondary champions.
They're not cheating.
Both these guys are good.
In another weird match, Natalya comes out against Alicia Fox.
You were talking about the stand up for WWE stuff.
That's later.
Was it later?
Yes, it's after what I'm about to talk about.
Oh, I'm ready for that.
John's a little fired. He wants to talk about something. Natalya comes out. She has a match against Alicia Fox. Now, if you remember, a couple months back, Alicia Fox was the women's champion. She was beating everyone. She beats her in 5 seconds. And it's like, how can you take a former champion and just destroy them like that in the ring? It makes them look like shit.
I think Natalya would destroy her, though.
Honestly, yeah, but I mean, you at least should give her some credit and give them a match. It wasn't even a real match. So then Michelle McCool and Layla come out and try to attack her, but then she fights them off. So obviously that sets off the title match, for Sunday. Now, this is what John wants to talk about. There's literally a 15-minute portion of the show that WWE dedicated that basically promoted themselves. And it talked about, first it showed the wrestling and all the different places in the world that they visit and things like that and how the fans love them. Then it started talking about all the charity work they do, how they're one of the biggest contributors to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Then you're like, where is this going? They never really explain it. You're like, where's this promo going? Why are they doing this? Then they start showing tribute to the troops, and you're like, all right, well now they're really stroking their own dick. What are they doing this for?
That's what it was.
Well, come to find out, at the end of the promo, you finally get it. They're like, so when you hear all these attacks on the WWE, you go out and you tell them all the positive stuff we do.
Yeah.
So what this really is, it's a political spin because for those that don't know, Linda McMahon is actually running for Senate in Connecticut. And a lot of people are attacking her, saying that she worked for this horrible company, all of the wrestlers are dying, and all this.
Well, they're actually like
criticizing WWE pretty heavily.
Yeah, I think her opponent's Blumenthal. He's actually using clips of former things.
Yes.
But you can't have it both ways, guys. You know, I'm sorry. You know, the McMahons decided to do all this crazy shit.
Right.
They thought it was a good idea to have, you know, Linda comatose in a wheelchair while, you know, Vince got a BJ from Trish Stratus or the hell was going on.
Right, right.
And, you know, I mean, they decided to do that. You know, Stephanie slapped her in the face and all the other craziness.
Right.
And, you know, how many of the divas did Vince, like, you know, hook up with over the years?
Right.
So, you can't have it both ways. You're going to do stuff like that.
You're going to have crazy angles, and then you're going to expect, like, no one's ever going to bring that up in the future.
If you're going to step into the political realm, of course that's going to come up.
Right.
You know?
It would be like if I ran for president, they're going to say, well, Phil, you cursed. Look at those videos you made that you corrupted all those children online. Yeah. I'm like, well, what am I going to say? Okay, yeah, I made videos, and whoever watched them. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, I would fess up. I wouldn't be like, you know.
Yeah, instead of asking the fans to stand up for WWE, why don't you stand up for your own...
For yourself.
Why don't you stand up for what you've done, and, you know, stand behind what you've done.
Right.
Instead of acting like it never existed.
Right, exactly.
There's also a weird thing, and they kept saying how PG the company was now, and, you know, it's PG. They showed a stat where 78% of the audience is over 18.
Right.
First of all, I don't think that's true.
That's probably not
I don't know how the fuck that's true. If you're over 18 and you enjoy a majority of what they do, I have to question some things about you personally. But if 78% of the audience is over 18, why is it PG then?
And the other question is, if that's true, why is the major majority of sales on their merch John Cena merchandise, and that's why they're always pushing John Cena?
That's why if that's true, I really have to question some people.
Right, you know?
So, I would say, don't fucking stand up for WWE. They don't need you to stand up for them.
They should be able to stand up for themselves.
Yeah, if you want to stand up for someone, you know, stand up for independent wrestling companies that really want to offer you a great product.
And need the help.
And need help, and really have a strong desire to give you a great product. You know, not these guys who are basically hypocrites who want to give you, you know, a so-so product so, you know, it would help somebody win an election.
An election. That was really... It was very self-serving, and the fact that they took that much of the show for it was kind of weird, so... They
are being investigated because you're not supposed to... Like, candidates are supposed to have equal time with this kind of publicity, so, like, they're being investigated as far as, like, is this actually a political thing? Is it unfair to the other candidate?
Right. And you gotta be careful with that. There are regulations for elections.
Very strange. And then on top of this, keep going here. No, I'm sorry, Scott.
Alright, so up next, really weird, we'll get through this quick because I'm sure we're probably almost out of time, but the star of this new movie, Knucklehead, who's the little, the kid, he was actually the PS3 the PSP promos, is in this new movie, Knucklehead, that's the Big Show's movie, which up to last week, no one had ever heard of. No one had, knew what it was or anything. And all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, Big Show's in a movie and he's in his underwear. And everyone's like, what the hell? So then this week, I think they realized that no one knew what the hell they were talking about, so they actually showed a really long promo clip of it. And so it really does not look funny at all. It looks very odd, this movie, but...
It's very PG-13.
It's definitely
which is against the WWE policy.
It's definitely, yeah, there's some adult content in there, but anyway, it's just they're trying to shill a new movie on everyone, which, honestly, is anyone really going to run out and buy it at this point? I don't know. It's
on the theater?
No, they're going to do just like they did with Legendary. Limited release, which means like 5 fucking theaters, and then in a week it'll be on DVD. So, whatever. Back to wrestling now.
Knucklehead.
The final match was Miz versus Big Show, and they were about to start, but then all the locker rooms from Raw and SmackDown spilled out into the arena, so they said, hold on, we can't do it with one-on-one, let's do an over-the-top rope challenge. So the matches go, and off, Raw versus SmackDown, people are getting tossed all around. Hornswoggle comes out and starts attacking Michael Cole for no particular reason, which is pretty stupid but funny, especially if you don't like Michael Cole. But anyway, it ends up with who? Zeke?
Zeke was one of the final guys.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Zeke and Sheamus for Raw against Big Show.
Yeah.
But then come to find out, Miz had cheated. Miz was still in the match. He slid under the rope and tried to grab Big Show. Big Show throws him out. But then Edge had done the same thing for SmackDown. He had left the ring by himself. So he slid in, and Big Show and him were able to get rid of Zeke and Sheamus. So SmackDown wins the match, giving SmackDown the momentum into the pay-per-view. And the question is, who's going to win the bragging rights?
Not SmackDown.
And the answer is not SmackDown because they won on Monday Night Raw, which is pretty apparent.
Doesn't the Miz care about the fucking briefcase? Why is he so concerned about this?
Well, maybe that'll be the twist. Maybe they'll lose the match, but then he'll use the briefcase during the title match.
Well, when they were doing the WWE versus Nexus, the Miz didn't care at all about being on the team.
Right.
But now he's all about it. He's like, yeah, I'm the captain.
Well, remember, he did want to be on the team at the last minute, and then they wouldn't let him on.
That is
so,
true, yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird angle. So anyway, John, what are your thoughts about the bragging rights pay-per-view? First of all, the bragging rights match. What is... You have no...
I don't know, man. It doesn't have any... It doesn't matter.
Right. That's what
nothing happens. Like...
It seems to me like this is the Survivor Series pay-per-view. They've changed it into this bragging rights.
How about like if one brand wins, like they get to draft guys?
At least
there's nothing.
At least when it used to be Survivor Series, it used to be like a face stable against a heel stable.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just everyone against everyone, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So you're right. It doesn't seem like there's many stakes on the line.
It's literally bragging rights.
It's just it makes no sense.
It's a script.